Hey Facebook, how's it going? Good friends, family members, and everybody else. I'm about to go work out, so please apologize how I look. I'm not looking like a doctor. But at the same time, a good friend of mine, Lopez, asked me to help people understand about this word called privilege. And a lot of people in today's time do not realize where we're at, how we're doing what we're doing, and the history of from where we were to where we're at. If we don't understand our past, we're going to repeat it. And unfortunately, our past didn't look so good, and we're into this. And there's a lot of talk about what we're going to do or not do, and so on and so forth. I'm gonna give you something. It's history. Everything I got on the board here, we're gonna go through the board together. Everything I got, you can look it up. I just did a simple soft search and put it on the board, but I just wanted to put it to you and give it to you in a way where it makes sense. The flow of it makes sense, and then I want you to prove me wrong in what I'm about to give you on the word privilege and how it relates to where we're at right now. Does that make sense? All right, so let's get to it. All right. Okay, so here is privilege. Let's look at it here. Privilege is a Latin word. Okay, it means by itself, it means a special rights, advantages, immunity granted. Now, it goes to a person or a group. Now, what does that mean? Privilege, you have to have an authority side that's given to a person or a group, and then that gives privilege. Okay, so let me reverse you right quick. That is the key to all things. Now, you have to have an authority, I'm sorry, it's backwards, a person and a privilege. That privilege comes from the authority to the person. Now, please understand that, okay? Let's reverse. Greeks. Okay, this is how far back we're going. Greeks is a small little place that has philosophy, science, math, and religion. Okay, Greeks in their philosophy, they define man's rankings, whites, browns, and blacks, to or in relation to gods. So philosophy, they define man's rankings for two gods. In other words, basically what they were trying to do in their philosophy, in their writings, was saying, I'm a human. Who is closer to God in relations to me being a human? And what they came up, and this is Greek philosophy, you can look it up. Any psychiatrist or philosopher who's out there knows this. Their rankings came up to say whites, brown, and blacks. Whites being the closest relations to God. And because whites are closer to God, that gives them the privilege. Right. Why? Let's reverse. Hey, what's going on? Let's give it a reverse. Because you need an authority. Who is the authority in Greek philosophy? The gods. The person or groups. Who are the groups? Whites, browns, blacks. In all of who we have in our rankings, privilege is given to whites because we're closer to gods. Okay, now we know that. Let's pre-understand. Whites also have a ranking within itself. Okay. Hey, how's it going? Hey, Helen. Okay. What happened to this system right here? What happened? What happened was Rome came in and took over Greek. When Rome came and took over Greek, they took over their philosophy, their sciences, the math, and their religions. Okay? All of their philosophy, science, math, and religions went into Rome, and then Rome colonized to Spain, Portugal, France, Great Britain, Northern Germany, and in 18th century US. Why did they do that? They wanted world trade, but here's the key. Here's the key, everyone. Rome fell, not externally because they had a superpower, they had a super army, they fell internally. Why did they fall internally? Because of their philosophy. There was too many outside forces, and they were gluttony, and they were, look, we all know what the story is. So you can look it up, research it out. Why did Rome fall? They failed internally, no different than what United States is doing. But we'll get into that in a second. Okay, let's get back into that. So privilege. Rome took over Greek. Rome took their colonized Spain, Portugal. All these guys have the same philosophy, right? Rome, God, ranks. Okay, same philosophy. Okay, now here's the issue. I'm gonna broaden this out. Let me just turn this around. I want you to see this. What's the issue in today's time, or history, but still today's time? You have one God who gave the authority to a group of people, the privilege, which is this. Then you have Hitler, who was in this region, Germany region, who says whites had a subclass of itself, right? Why the subclass? Why, if you're white, why the subclass? Because there is a Greek god who's conflicting against a Torah. Let me go back around. Sorry. The conflict, literally, it's whites against whites because God. Who the heck is a slave to Egypt, coming out of Egypt as slavery, going into the desert by way of Moses, right? By the way of Moses into a desert, and then now this new God is giving authority to persons or people or group, giving them privilege over this white group with this guy's authority? Yeah, right. So we have sub-whites fighting each other because of two different gods. The Roman Empire had Greek mythology, philosophy, but mythology of gods, gave them the authority. Torah came about. Moses wrote the Torah. The Lord, the God, gave the slave people a new God, which is conflicting with this God. And in history, we have whites fighting against whites. Then we have the Bible. We now have Jesus. Jesus is also now fighting against this God, which is ultimately Rome's God, fighting against whites, browns, and blacks. Then we also have the Torah. This Torah is now fighting against this God, which is the Greeks' God, whites, browns, and blacks. The problem is in relations to this right here. Man's ranking. I don't know if it's backwards, but man's ranking. That's the problem. In history, man's relations to, let me turn this around so you can see this. The people or the group is always in relations to a God. You have the Torah, the Bible, Quran. These people have a relations with God. And because they have a relationship with God, these people are going against those people. And the reason they're going against those people is because those people understand this philosophy and this ranking from these gods. This God, from the Bible's position and the Torah's position, says this is not a real God. This is mythology. But these people don't believe that this is a mythology. These people says this is a philosophy and this is a difference. So you guys, no, we're not doing that no more. And so now we're having a battle between people and God. You don't believe me? Think of it this way. I wake up. Who do I pray to? God. I do a new project. Who am I praying to? God. If I need some help, who do I pray to? God. If I start my sports program and we getting ready to go out and compete against sports, who do we do? What do? We pray to God. If I'm a musician or I'm a singer, before I perform in front of an audience, what do? I pray to who? A God. We cannot escape the fact that we pray to a God, from Asian to everyone. This is a God to God relations. If you're a Christian, meaning if you went from this God, Greek philosophy God, into the Bible, Jesus, the rankings went away. If you are not a Christian, the rankings still stand. Okay, so let's go back to, no one is doubting that we're trying to do world trade. Okay, that's slavery. That's the reason why slavery. Whites thought the browns and blacks, slavery, make money. Okay, this is the conclusion of this. We're dealing with philosophy and belief systems. We are not, and we should not, look at somebody's profession. Okay, let me turn this around. Okay. Listen. The key is in understanding everything I just said. The key is very simple. We're dealing with a people who has a relations between themselves and God. Am I closer to God? Yes. Why? Because God is white. That's Greek philosophy. When the Rome took over and the Roman Catholic Church, you see all the statues and all, they're white. Why? Greek philosophy says God in the relations between me and God is white. Anything darker is not of God. That's Greek philosophy. Christianity and Torah is totally different belief. It's a sub-thought because not too many people talk about it. The sub-thought is the dust of the ground is black. Anyway, U.S., even in the Bible, even in the laws, you can see that blacks, browns do not have the equality in the laws as whites. Why? Because of the Roman colonization, the Greek God's position. Okay, how do we get past this? We know that there was an event, and there's always been events, that it seems like a white cop is doing something to a group of people, black, brown people. Why? Because of the authority given by the people to the individual, right? To police the group of people or to help the group of people protect themselves from the lower class of people. Okay? So in context, there are good cops and there are bad cops. What makes a good cop versus a bad cop? What makes it? It's their philosophy and belief systems. Frustration is kicking in globally because not too many people understand the difference in when you look at a white person, they're not, some of them may be a Greek philosopher, belief, I'm white, I'm privileged. And then you might have some white people who says, I'm a Christian. I come from God, from the dust of the ground. We're supposed to love each other. How do I tell the difference? By looking at their profession and they all have badges, right? And I understand the psychology or the social frustration of history, from slavery to freedom. You have to believe in a God, and we do. Christianity does believe in a God, but at the same time, that God governs a certain thing. Sorry, the people believe a God, and the God is in relations to a certain people. Keep in mind that you're going against a different philosophy, a different belief, two different gods. Greek philosophy has an authority from different gods than the Torah God, than the Jesus God, than the Quran, Allah. Do not look at the profession because it's hard to say white, good, white, bad. Because white hates white anyway. Look at the authority. Who's giving them the authority? If this group of people is giving this group of people authority, then guess what? The United States has always been structured around Roman philosophy. Slavery has been formed around Roman philosophy. Roman philosophy is the fiber of Roman philosophy is the belief of the philosophy from the Greeks who defined the rankings to God. We're all trying to do the same thing. My God this, my God that. I believe in my God, Jesus, Quran, Torah, whatever. But your relations with God, that's the conflict. And if you don't believe me, just look out there. How many white cops is saying, I love you, I'm with you? This is a murder. We're looking at the murder. We're not looking at the individual belief system. We're looking at the act. How many white cops is still killing blacks and browns? How many white on white crime is there? How many black on black crime is there? You have to understand the bigger picture. Philosophy is against philosophy, belief against belief. But where's the authority? My God against your God. Anyway, that's part 2. What do you do with this? It depends on who God you follow. I can't look. White America who believes they're the hierarchy. I'm white. I'm privileged. Look, I can't tell them what to believe and what not to believe. No different than a Muslim person, a family, right? Who am I, right? As a psychiatrist, I'm neutral. I look at problems and I help people with problems. But in context, if you believe in one thing, you're going to conflict another belief. The Torah had to go from one God to another God, and there was a massive battle. Roman Empire broke down its structure because it went against gods. Quran, look at what's going over there, right? Guys, this is why in the Bible, at least, they talked about tribulation. Tribulation is based not off of man and man. It's not based off of I hate you and you hate me. No, it's based off of God versus gods. This is Dr. Bagley. Again, I apologize for looking like this. I'm about to go out and do my thing. Let me know what you think. I'll talk to you guys later. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please do not hesitate in letting me know. I'm more than happy to bring up more dialogue. Because if you understand what I just said, literally, if you understand what I just said, you can truly understand history. And if you understand history and understand what the good parts of history and the bad parts of history, and you adjust, you then can have a better future. Right now, it doesn't look so good. And the reason it doesn't look so good is because we're fighting against Roman mythology, Roman philosophy, the Torah philosophy, the Bible philosophy, the Quran philosophy. Gods against gods. Who is privileged? Quite honestly, to answer the question, all of us. And that's dangerous. I'll talk to you guys later. Until next time.